what you are and who you should become. Power. The power of worth, elevation, evolving, resistance. I push through the pain to get to the power. I keep going to get this power. I knew that it was given to me by grace and to know my purpose. You get pushed through this pain to get to this power. That tends to give a divine scar, but the power gives you reinforcement. Pushing past the pain to let your voice be heard. Pushing past your fears to let your voice be heard. How much faith do you know to overcome your fears? You have blessings to someone to hear. There's a message in your words. There's a power in your voice. Keep pushing through your pain to keep that power. I keep my faith over fear to have the power in my voice to be heard. You have the power. You are resilient and you have the strength. Your voice is powerful and you need to know that you're powerful. Hold on to that power. Hold on to that power. Hold on to that power, which is the power in your voice. Use it to stand by grace. Use it to know your worth. And use it to be ready to show your knowledge. The power in your voice. A platform to redefine, which is inspiring, which is impeccable to give you knowledge, and which is a place for you to grow, to be walking in your purpose, and being very amazing. The power in your voice. Hold on to that. Hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in to The Power in Your Voice. This is your girl, Sheena, better known as the lady behind the mask. Now, thank you for always tuning in to be educated, empowered, and inspired. How you doing today, Coach? What's going on?
I am well. I am well. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Can you tell the people who you are and what you do?
Okay, I am Coach Latrea Russ, your Disabilities Empowerment coach, speaker, and published author. I hail from Wilmington, North Carolina. I live there with my husband, and I also have an 18-year-old daughter. Um, Disability Empowerment coach. That is actually something me mm, umpteen years ago. Um, I'm not going to say I'm one of a kind, but I will say there are very few out there that do what I do. I work with the disabled population, specifically young children and parents of young children that have various types of disabilities. And what I do is with parents, I give them the kind of a support group where they can feel that they can come and, be authentically themselves and talk about some of the stressors and things that they go through and deal with having a child that is or has a disability. From the child perspective, I work with children most of the time. It's um, elementary school age children who deal with bullying, low self esteem, things of that nature as it relates to dealing with a disability. That's what I do. Um, I was born with a disability. I have my disability is called Pfeiffer Syndrome, and what it is a rare genetic syndrome which causes the bones in your body not to fuse properly. In my case, it was the bones in my skull.
Wow.
So when your body is formed, the bones are supposed to mesh together in a way that it protects your organs. It's supposed to protect your spleen, your ribs, and all of it. It's supposed to protect your organs. That's why the bones are meshed together a certain way. Well, in my case, the bones in my skull was not meshed together properly. And there were some areas in my skull where there was no bone.
Mm.
So, and also, I don't know what you know about the skull and how it all works together, but we have like little stems that go all the way around our skull that prevents our skull from sitting on top of our brain. if we didn't have these stems, then our skull would be resting on top of our brain. I did not have those stems. So when I was born with my skull practically sitting on top of my brain because I didn't have anything to relieve that pressure. Um, I had my first surgery when I was 2 months old. I've had over 35, 45 operations. I think you name it, I've been had it.
Mm.
um, and on top of that, I've had my parents, my mom was addicted to crack, and my dad was an alcoholic. Now, I want to say this because a lot of times people ask me, was it my mother's drug addiction that caused my disability?
Right.
No, they were not related at all. It had nothing to do with anything that she was doing or was not doing. Um, this is just the way God felt like I needed to be, I guess. But at any rate, um, due to their drug addiction and alcoholism, we were displaced a lot. I remember going from shelter to home to walking the streets, at 8, 9, 10 years old, not having anywhere to sleep
Mm.
because they either drank up all the money or smoked up all the money, didn't have money for rent. Um, I remember one time in particular, I came home from school and I was getting off the school bus and I was getting off the school bus and I was walking towards my house. But before I got to my house, it was a long row of our furniture sitting outside. So can you imagine being a kid getting off the school bus
No,
and you
not
see
at all.
your toys, your bike, your sofa, your love seat,
Right.
sitting on the side of the street? You gotta try to explain to people why are you so stuck sitting on the side of the street? Like, what is y'all having a garage sale? What's going on with it? So, that was kind of hard to explain to people that, we got put out yet again. There were times when my dad would actually sleep on the furniture outside
Wow.
to make sure that nobody stole our stuff
Mm.
because it was out on the street. Um, Fast forward to about the age of 12, I want to say, what the 12, 12 or 13, somewhere within that time frame. I entered the foster care system. My mother was deemed unable to care for me and my sister. By the time I have a sister, my mother was deemed unable to care for me and my sister. So we went into the foster care system. I stayed in the foster care system for about 6 years, going from one abusive home to another. I was finally adopted. Well, my sister and I was finally adopted when I was 16. I think I was 16 and she was not. And yeah, and you would think that that would be how the story ends. No, it's not.
Right.
Come to find out, now I didn't find it until I became an adult, but come to find out, the home that we were adopted into, the male figure in that home was molesting my sister.
Wow.
It had been molested from 2 all the way up to 10, 9. From
Mm.
that, he had been molesting her all the way up to that. And, you know, I carry a lot of feelings, a lot of guilt, a lot of, resentment about
Right.
myself for that because in the African American community, we're always taught and raised. If you have a sibling, that sibling is your responsibility,
Right.
especially if you're the oldest. So for me, my mother drilled that in my head. That is your sister, that is your responsibility. We're supposed to take care of her. We're supposed to make sure nothing happens to her. Until later on in life, find out that that happened to her. And, you try to wrap your mind around, like, so where was I at? What was I doing? What was I at when all of this was going on? And you don't want to make it about yourself,
Mhm.
but at the same token, I was supposed to be protecting her.
Right.
How did I drop the ball?
Right.
Um,
Sometimes when we start to
try to dissect things, and as as you say, being the oldest and being a protector, it's hard, and then we put a lot on ourselves during that journey. So, being
Yeah,
that
we
you
do.
are a disability coach, what made you decide to, you know, start your business? Because don't you have a business called More Than My Disability? Am I correct?
Disability. Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
what
Um,
made you to become an entrepreneur?
it's so funny you asked me that because that seed was planted within me a long time ago, and I kept fighting it. I kept saying, I don't want to own nobody's business. I don't know nothing about owning no business. What I know about running somebody's business? Man, listen, I'm just trying to get this paper. I'm not trying to run nobody's business. And it's funny because it goes back to questioning God, if you will,
Right.
about my disability and about why he decided to bless me with this. And I say bless me with it because it's a blessing because I've used it to help so many people. So that is how I'm able to look at it as a blessing because I've used it to help so many people.
And
So
that's amazing. So I said that's an amazing thing too.
yeah, it is. It is. So I said, okay, I spent maybe the first half of my life trying to wish it away, trying
Hmm.
to wish God would take it away, and wish I would wake up one day and be like everybody else. And that never happened. So I said, okay. I said, well, why do I use it for the good? Why do I take it and use it in a way that's going to help other people? And that is where my disability came from. Because at first, I strive to show people that despite your disability, you can go on to be something great. You can go on to do something great. You can go on to be whatever it is that you want to be. But your disability will never be the reason that you won't be what you
Right.
want to be. Your disability will never be the reason that you are not successful in whatever endeavor that you're trying to be successful. And I wanted to show people that.
And that's amazing. And can you tell us more of what you as your business, what you do? Is that what you do as far as working with the disabled, or is that something
Mhm.
else as well?
No, no, that's all encompassed together. I have various workshops that I go out and I do in independent living centers with young adults.
Hmm.
Like I said, I focus on children, but I do also service young adults as well. I go out to independent living centers and speak to young adults. I have workshops for young adults, as well as I go into schools and I talk to kids in the school system, both able-bodied and non and disabled. Because I feel like I had the ability to bridge that gap between able-bodied and disabled. I go to parent support groups. I talk to them. I offer them workshops. So I do a lot of different things within the community to try to show people that they're not alone and what they're going through is not something that's foreign or something that they should be ashamed of or anything like that. What they're going through is not, that's not it. There's somebody that's going through the same thing that you're going through, and you guys can glean from each other.
Absolutely. So tell me, like, you have a husband that has cerebral palsy, and then you have a kid that has ADHD, and then you have your own condition that you deal with. What does life look like with you on top of being a business owner?
Girl, girl, let me tell you. No, for real. It's about prioritizing, and um, my husband, even though he has cerebral palsy, he's very independent. He is
That's
he is very very independent. It almost kills him to have to ask me for help. He's very independent in that way. Um, My daughter, she's fairly independent as well. Um, every now and again, I may have to help her sort through some things, but for the most part, she's fairly independent as well. Um, and I just help out when I can. I mean, in between running a business, and I also work a 9 to 5. So,
Right. So
you
so
know,
you have like 20 hats on.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I'm actually in the fall getting ready to go to school to get my doctorate. So
Look
I'm,
at you.
I'm
Watch
gonna
out
I'm,
now.
I'm adding that. I'm adding that to the list of things that I'm gonna be doing.
Mm. Now,
Yes.
are you an author as well? Am I correct?
Oh yes, ma'am. I am a
So tell
7 time
me
published
about this
author.
book. Tell me about these
Um.
books.
Okay. So the first book was a set of workbooks that I did. It's called Rules for Not Broken, and it goes with a workshop. It is called Removing the Emotional Barriers of Disability. And what that workshop entails is it talks about the different emotional layers that a person deals with that has a disability that they deal with and that they go through. And in order to fully accept themselves and fully accept their disability, they have to peel back those emotional barriers. Okay, so that's one set of workbooks I had. Then I had another book called Green Tea and Other Forms of Meditation. Now, the interesting story about that particular book, well, the title of that book was I was in the hospital. I think I was about 9, maybe maybe yeah, 9, and I could close my eyes and go back to that day like it was yesterday. And God had dropped that title in my spirit. Now I'm 9. I don't know what green tea. What are you talking
Right.
about? So I tucked it away, and then that was the title of my first self-help book,
Mm.
Green Tea and Other Forms of Meditation. And that's just basically a book of poetry and short stories about different experiences that I've had that I use to help other people. That's all I do. I just take things that I've been through and the experiences that I've had to help other people. Because I feel like our story is not our own. Our experiences are not our own. They're not for us. They have nothing to do with us. Sure, we go through them and we deal with them, but at the end of the day, they were never meant to be for us. They were meant to be for the people that we are called to help. Um, I did a bunch of correlation books where I've
Okay.
added stuff to them. I did like 3 of those. And then I did a prayer book called Intimate Conversations with God. And that book came about. I was a Sunday school teacher for about a good 10, 11 years, probably a little longer than that. And one thing I always talked to my Sunday school kids about was prayer and the importance of prayer, the importance of not being afraid to talk to God and not being ashamed to talk to God, and dispelling this myth that because I'm a child, God doesn't hear me. God hears you. God hears
Right.
everything you say to Him. And the questions that would always come up would be, how do you pray? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say when I pray. I don't know what to say when I'm talking to God. And that's how that title came up.
Mm.
It's just a conversation between you and God. It has nothing to do with
I,
anybody else. It's an intimate conversation between you and God.
I love that. I need to actually get that for my kids because you know it's a great way to help them start their conversations and their spiritual journey with
Hmm.
God. And because that does be the question for them, like, what am I supposed to say, or how do I get started, and stuff like that. So definitely, I need to check that
Right.
out for my two daughters that I have because they're teenagers.
Yeah. Um. And because what would happen is we would be in Sunday school, and every Sunday I would ask somebody to pray, and they would be like, "Sister Latrea, I don't know what to say." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't know what to say?" Well, I don't know what to say. I don't know. All I know is my grace. That's all I know. I said, so you don't pray
Listen,
when you
I've
go to
been there
bed?
with the kids. I understand. I've been there being young, so I get it.
I said, okay. And I said, and then what I would have them do, and this might work for your girls too. What I would have them do is, I said, okay. I said, I want you to close your eyes. I said, I want you to pretend like you're the only one in the room. There's nobody else in the room but you. And you say everything to God that you want God to know in that moment. And it's just you. Nobody, we're not here. There's nobody else here
Right.
but you. Close your eyes and just say everything that you have ever wanted to say to God in that moment. Baby, I'm trying to tell you what I've had kids do that exercise. There was some children delivered and set free that day. I'm
Right.
trying to tell you. I mean, they said some things that I don't think anybody ever heard before or they've ever said out of their mouth before.
Right.
And I
Out
guess for me,
loud.
it was just, yeah, out loud. It was just making them relax and having them understand that you and God talking. This ain't got nothing to do with nobody else but you and God. So you
Hmm.
can get to that place where you can close your eyes and pretend like nobody else is in the room and you and God is just communicating. Then the floodgates will open. So
Absolutely.
that's where the title of that book came from.
Now, is there any more books in the future?
Well, I just finished one. It was published last August. It's my my story. Um, I thought I had a copy in here with me, but I don't. Um, it's called what's it called? Oh, I'm not doing this anymore.
I
And
like that
yeah,
title.
yeah, I'm not. I'm not doing this anymore. Um, that book. When I say that book was the hardest book for me to write. Oh my goodness, it took me
Mm.
about 3, 4 years to write that book.
Oh wow, that
And
peels some layers.
yes, and only because I was not being obedient.
Right.
And when the word says obedience is better than sacrifice, they are not. It is not lying because it was like, and then it got to a point where God was just shutting every door, like
Mm.
everything I wanted to do, He was just closing it off. And He was like,
Mm.
"Not until you write that book. Not until you
Ooh.
write that book." And I had to get to a place where I took me out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
Right.
no longer, oh, well, how they gonna feel about me? And what they gonna say about
Mm-hmm.
me? And this, that, and
Right.
the third. I had to separate myself from the actual book in order to get it
Mm-hmm.
done. Because again, going back to what I said before, it's not about me. It's about the person that's going to
Right.
read that book. It's going to help. It's going to help them. So yeah, I'm
Is
not
what
doing this
and who
anymore.
was attached to that story.
Right, right. And I I have a saying because my friends would ask me, well, aren't you concerned about your family members getting upset with you about what you put in the book? I was like, well, if you don't like how your character is depicted, you should have played a better role. That's all
Absolutely.
I can say.
That's it.
You don't like how your character is depicted, you should have played a better role. But so yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. Was released last August. And it's
Nice.
doing pretty good, I have to say. It's one of my I'm not sure one of my better ones, but
Mm-hmm.
it's doing well. I've gotten a lot of rave reviews from those that have read it. So
Congratulations. Congratulations. So tell
thank
me,
you.
it's someone out there that might be sitting home dealing with disability or dealing with some type of frustration, or might have a kid that, is dealing with disability and they don't know how to, deal with the frustration or how to counteract in the position they're in. What message would you have for them?
Don't give up. So many times when and I tell my daughter this all the time, don't give up because so many times when it doesn't come easy or when it doesn't come right away or when it doesn't manifest the way that we think it should manifest, We want to give up. Oh, this isn't going to work. I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to do that. Well, you're right. You won't if you keep speaking that. If you keep putting that out there in the atmosphere, then you're never going to do it. You're never going to get to where you're trying to go because you keep putting that out there in the atmosphere each day. And I know it's hard. Nobody said it wasn't going to be. It's going to be easy. Nobody said it wasn't going to be difficult. Nobody said it wasn't going to be some rough days or some rough times. No, nobody said that. Nobody said it was going to be an easy voyage. Because if it was an easy voyage, God would have gave it to everybody. But He didn't.
Absolutely.
He gave it to you. He gave it to you because whatever He put inside of you, strong enough to carry it. Whatever He placed inside of you has given you the tenacity and the strength to go where He is trying to take you. Whatever He has placed inside of you has given you everything that you need to get through this. And so many times we are so busy looking everywhere else for what God already put inside of us. He put everything inside of us that we would need. And we just have to tap into our faith and tap into the strength that He gave us.
Absolutely. So, what do you feel was your challenges as far as through this process of you going through all the things you've been through in life? Because how many surgeries you've had?
Uh, 32, 33,
Mm,
a lot.
a lot.
A lot. um, Accepting myself.
Okay.
I think that was probably the biggest challenge that I had, accepting myself and accepting, hey, this is just what it is. I mean, because I remember the last surgery I had. Well, not the last, but one of the surgeries I had. I was about 16, and um, I was in surgery from 10 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock the following morning. I had lost so much blood that they didn't think I was going to make it. And when I finally came to and came out of recovery, the doctor came in there. He sat on my bed. He's like, "We're not doing any more surgery. We're not doing any more." He's like, "I don't know what you're going to have to do to get to the place that you understand that this is you. This is who you are. This is you. There's nothing more that we can do to fix you because you're not broken.
Right.
You're not broken. Just because you don't look like everybody else doesn't make you broken. Just because you don't walk, talk, act like everybody else doesn't make you broken, and it doesn't make anything wrong with you. And when I realized that, and when I got to that place of understanding, that on top of the fact of who I am, I was beautifully creatively, I'm sorry, beautifully, wonderfully made in the image of God. This is the way God wanted me to look. It has nothing to do with man. It ain't got nothing to do with what man say, how man feel, or anything. This is the way God wanted me to be. So when I got to that place in my life, I didn't care anymore. This is just what it is.
And I'm proud of you on that journey because some people are still yet in their years have not came to that place of acceptance of who they are and that they're not
Mm,
broken.
right, right,
It just takes, us loving on who we are and embracing who we are and stepping into the purpose of who we are.
right,
Because,
right.
like you said, you was running. You said you was running for a long time from what was
Well,
given to you as your purpose.
girl, look, let me tell you something. And it's so funny because you're doing a book now, and your book is based on my signature speech.
Mm.
How to use your pain to push you to your purpose.
I think you might need to come and put that speech in the book. But I'm gonna just throw that out there. Hashtag join the project. Turn my pain into purpose. I'm just gonna throw my little, 1-2 out there. But yes, absolutely. You know that and I'm gonna say, that was birth out of the fact of the things that I deal with. Because one, I don't look like I'm disabled because I don't look like my story. You will never know that I have five, or shall I say six now, diagnoses on me because I don't look like it. All my conditions are invisible. So that was birthed out of just the transitions of the last 10 and 11 years going through my story and going through domestic violence. So, like how you say your story, your message, and that's what made me come up with the book because so many times we go through that pain and forget that there's a purpose through that. Because a lot of times I've asked the question like how you did, why? It was, when you getting all these diagnoses and you dealing with these situations, you always come to the first question is always why me? Why me? Why me? But I remember started asking the questions, okay, so what do I do with that now?
Right,
Being that
right,
it is on me. Instead of why me, what do
right,
I do with it? So
right, right, right. And that has been my thing. I think it's a part of my speech where I say that, where I say, you know, everything that I went through is for this moment right here.
mhm,
Every operation, every surgery, every time I was bullied, um, every abusive foster home, everything was for this purpose right here. If I did not go through that, then I would not be a 7-time published author. If I did not go through that, would I not have not only a bachelor's but a master's degree? If I did not go through that, I would not be an entrepreneur. So I had to go through that pain and allow that pain to push me to my purpose. And in my speech, I also talk about how we use that pain to push us to our purpose. How we first acknowledge it. You see what it is. You acknowledge that it's there. Okay, you acknowledge it. Then once you acknowledge it, you don't sit there in it. You don't fester in it. You don't soak in it. You acknowledge it. You recognize it, and then thirdly, you move past it. You use it to push you. You use it as your motivator. You use it as your gas. You use it as your fuel to push you to whatever that next level that God has for you. Because that's why you had to go through it. You had to go through it
mhm.
in order to be pushed. That was God's way of pushing you to birth whatever the next level was.
Absolutely. And I hope y'all catch all those gems. So those of y'all that are out there that might feel that you're in the midst of this pain that you're dealing with now, or you don't feel that you was born with a purpose, or you're not worthy of any of the things that you are dealing with or going through. Remember, there is a reason and a season of why you're in the midst of the situation that is happening right now. So take the gems. Hashtag there's a purpose for it. Hashtag is bigger than you, and hashtag
That's
you was
right.
built for it. So just know you had to carry the throne to make it through so that you can help someone else that's on the other side of
That's
that
right.
message and
That's
that
right.
testimony.
That's right. That's
Now,
right.
is there any last words or inspirations that you would like to leave for the people that are watching now or later?
Um, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And I say that because a lot of times people get so caught up in their here and now, and they get so laser focused on the here and now, not thinking past the here and now, not thinking past the moment that they're in. And okay, so it might be a rough moment right now. You might be going through a rough patch right now. Right now might look dark, gloomy, and destitute, but you're going to get through it. You're going to get past it. You're going to get over it. You're going to move forward. It's going to get better. It may not seem like it right now, but it's going. Take it from me. I done seen a lot of dark nights. I done seen a lot of lonely days, and there have been days where I've been in situations like, Lord, being a kid. Okay, and I ain't talking about an
Mhm.
adult, but being a kid in these situations like, Lord, this can't get no, this can't get no worse, Lord.
Right.
Like, really? But God always told me, just hold on. I got you. And the same way he got me, he got you too.
Amen, girl. You done preached today. You about to start a sermon. You're gonna have some people in here shouting and ready to go. Can you tell people how to connect with you, work with you, how to follow you, and all the et ceteras, coach?
Okay, sure. I have a website. It's www.coachlatria.net. I'm on all social media platforms. Facebook. My Facebook is my name, Latria, Lat as in Tom, Rea. Anita Russ. That's my full government name. Don't try to use it because you won't get very far. But anyway, that's my full government name. You can look me up on Facebook, on Instagram. It's Coach Latria 79. TikTok is Coach Latria, and then it's Speaker Latria. YouTube is Coach Latria.
Thank Coach Latria. Thank you for being here to bless us with your story, your journey, and your gems from entrepreneurship, motherhood, all the et ceteras, and the woman on the move. As always, guys, this have been Sheena Gadon on the Power in Your Voice, your host, better known as the lady behind the mask. As always, we are here to educate, motivate, and inspire. Tune in to the next time when we be back with another author, another businesswoman, businessman, or somebody that's just ready to share their testimony. We are always here to share, inspire, and motivate. Thank you and have a great night, guys.
Bye.
Life struggles. When life tries to fight you back, you have to be ready to fight back. You have to be ready to stand your ground and be able to. Unfortunately, life is and bold. We learned that there are people that do not want to see you rise. They rather see you fall and be defeated. The strength that you